Hey everybody, welcome to lesson 1 of our next unit. We're going to be learning about ancient Greece. Today, after planners and announcements, we're going to go through the vocab, and then we're going to talk about Greek geography. And one of the best parts of the Greek unit is there's these awesome Greek cartoons that go through all the Greek myths, and they're just fantastic and hilarious. I'll post them on my website, mrmellor.com, under the study tab for Greece. Okay. The I can statement today is I can name 2 characteristics of Greek geography. We're going to get to geography in just a sec. Let's do the vocab. Greece is a peninsula. That's a piece of land that's nearly surrounded by water, or surrounded by water on 3 sides. A phalanx is a Greek fighting unit. It's when soldiers are arranged into rows. We'll talk more about that, especially once we get to Alexander the Great in the Hellenistic period. A tyrant is somebody who seizes power and rules with complete control. An oligarchy is a government where a small, rich group has control. And a democracy is a government by the people. We'll, of course, be talking a lot about different government types as we study ancient Greece. We'll talk about monarchies, democracies, oligarchies. A philosopher is a person who searches for wisdom. And a myth is a story that explains a belief or something in the natural world. We'll talk a lot about Greek myths, of course. And then an oracle is someone that the Greeks believed was a priest or priestess who could speak for the gods, kind of like a fortune teller or a future teller. We'll talk more about them as well. All right, first up, Greece. You can see here on this satellite image, Greece is just kind of above Egypt and to the right of Italy. This is a map that kind of shows what Greece looks like and where some of the city-states were. The island of Crete down at the bottom, and then it has water almost all around it. And here we can see another satellite image of Greece and what it looks like. So, when we're talking about 2 geographical features of Greece, I think this picture kind of shows it best. Greece has a lot of islands around it. It has tons and tons of islands, and the areas that aren't islands are mountains. Greece is a very mountainous country, so the 2 geographic features of ancient Greece we're really going to emphasize are mountains and islands and how those impacted the culture. Of course, you would expect a culture that is so mountainous and so islandous to be really good at boating and sea. Anything that has to do with the sea, they're going to be trading and fishing and shipbuilding and all that sort of thing. But because Greece was so mountainous, as a result, the city-states of Greece became super independent. So other cultures, like Egypt, it was fairly easy to travel from one city to the next. You just get on a boat and float down the Nile and you're in the next city. So it was easy for those civilizations like Egypt to be ruled by a strong government that controlled all of it. Greece never really had a unifying government. They were Greeks, but they didn't really think of themselves in ancient times as Greeks. They thought of themselves as Athenians or Spartans or Olympians or whatever city-state that they were from. And they had a similar culture, a similar religion, same language, but they didn't think of themselves as a unified Greek people. One major reason for that is it was just so hard to travel from one city-state to the next. And anytime it's difficult to travel between the cities are going to develop fairly independently into what we call a city-state. We saw this in Mesopotamia as well. The Mesopotamian cities like Ur or Uruk, they were city-states, very independent city-states, and that's because it was hard to travel in between them. And because it was hard, people didn't do it very often. Of course, Mesopotamia, it was difficult to travel for a different reason. Going from one city-state to another meant hundreds of miles of open desert, which is a difficult journey. In Greece, it's not so far apart. It's just mountains in the way or islands. You have to go from one island to the next. So this shows kind of a finished example of what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be coloring and labeling a map of ancient Greece. So this was the map in our notes. We're going to fill out the map legend first. Any little small temple symbol is for a city-state. that is for a mountain, and that is for a sea. So let's do the island of Crete first. We'll label that. And then this, of course, is the Sea of Crete because it's just near Crete. Up there, we have the Aegean Sea. On the left side is the Ionian Sea. And the main sea that's out farther around Greece is the Mediterranean Sea. I mean, it's all the same water, but it has different names based on which kind of general area around Greece it is. Let's do some city-states. First, Sparta. Sparta is down on the bottom part of Greece. That's the Peloponnesus, or the Peloponnesian Peninsula. Sparta is down there. Olympia is also on that bottom peninsula, but it's over on the left or the west side. Olympia, of course, is where the first Olympic Games were held. Athens, very important, influential city-state, is just above that bottom peninsula on the right or the east side. Knossos was the city-state that was down on the island of Crete, famous for there being a big palace down there. And then Mount Olympus is up higher. It's kind of in northern Greece. And that, of course, is where the Greeks believed that the Greek gods lived. Zeus and Hades, well, Hades was in the underworld, but they believed that the Olympian gods like Zeus lived on top of Mount Olympus. So there is our finished product. Once again, the Greek geography and vocab. Thanks.